Welcoming in this week's guest, he is UFC welterweight Mike Perry. He's in a great mood. I mean, we were just talking to him off air, and he's mad at us because he thought that we had started rolling already. He was giving us some gold. He was freestyling. He was agreeing to phone calls in between rounds. Next time Mike Perry fights, if he doesn't finish the fight in the first round, I get to call him and chew him out and saying, "What are you doing, man? I thought the fight was going to end in the first round." You missed all of that, listeners.
Oh man, it's good stuff. So you told them about it pretty good, though. I think they're up to speed. So what else can we talk about?
I summed it up, right? Well, happy belated birthday, man. How was the birthday celebration? It happened on Sunday, right? The Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the fight was definitely a big part of the birthday celebration. Breakfast, the day of weigh-in, the face-offs, and then the lunch, and hanging out with people. The whole weekend, the whole trip was more of a birthday celebration the whole time. And then I got to meet somebody up. It wasn't like I had to. It was like, oh, I get to go in here. Remember, this is a privilege. I mean, I get to sign that contract because I worked hard for this. I get to prove to the world that ain't nobody got nothing on me.
Well, you looked absolutely fantastic. Knocked out Alex Reyes in the first round. It was supposed to be Thiago Alves. Alves wasn't able to get there, so you got Alex Reyes, beat a guy that you were really unfamiliar with, only 3 days to prepare for Alex Reyes. And then I got to ask you, so the fight ends, and we go to commercial break, of course, and then it comes back out of commercial break, and the cameras are showing the fighter, right? And you launch into this chicken impression, and I gotta say, like, I wouldn't usually bring this up. I wouldn't usually bring it up, like, okay, so Mike pretended like he was a chicken in the octagon. I mean, who cares? But it was the best chicken impression I have ever seen in my life. And it got me thinking, like, do you practice being a chicken at home? Do you do other impressions? Where did this come from? Because this was very good.
I did. I practiced. Everything you see in the octagon is practice. Every word, it's not written down or anything, but it's spoken about that after I win, I get it known in my own head that I'm going to win, and then after I win, I have to give to the people. I got to give them something. I got to talk about what they want. They want to see me and a fighter like Robbie Lawler go at it. That's what they want. The people were in the crowd. That's Pittsburgh, baby. I was there, 60,000 fans at the game, and I was trying to get their attention. And, I never really been to a football game before. I'm a Detroit Lions fan, but I was, when in Rome, you know what I'm saying? Everybody had the terrible towels out at the Pittsburgh game, and we was out there to have a good time and enjoy the show. And Joe Rogan actually had something to say about that. He was doing his little podcast thing. He's like, all right, that's it. He called out Robbie Lawler, and now he's talking about some stupid game. He's like talking trash about the football game. I'm like, excuse me, football players make more than us. They have more fans than we do. I need some of their fans. And I'm a fan of football, the sport of football as well. So, don't hate on the fact that I'm talking to people about football. I still got to be a human being at the end of the day. He's like, oh, he just beat somebody up, and he's talking about football. I told the fans, look, okay, number one guy, I just beat somebody up really easy. I'm calling out number one, and back to being a human. Life goes on. I got to sign a contract to be able to beat somebody up. I can't just go out in the street whooping ass all willy-nilly.
Wow, really? I hadn't heard that yet from Joe Rogan. That doesn't seem like something Joe would say.
He called me a savage, though. He's like, oh, he's vicious. It's so, it's just, wow, he's amazed by me as well. He respects how I fight. I believe that. But, they were talking about the Joe Ban fight. Eddie Bravo, I don't know if he's trying to get Joe Ban killed. He's coming off 2 losses on the knockouts, talking about, I'd like to see that fight again. I thought he was Joe Ban's coach. I don't know why he would want to see that fight again. I definitely took the Joe Ban fight in stride and learned from it. And it will never happen to me again like that, no matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? So if that's something that they want to make, Condit came back. He's talking about needing a fight in December. They're not going to make that one either because he's going to get what he wants. He's going to get somebody in the top 5 who's just coming off of a loss since he's had some time off. So that's probably who he's going to get. I'm not probably going to get the Robbie Lawler fight because he's not going to accept it and give me that shot. But remember how I came into the UFC. somebody said, I beat a nobody. I think I'm good. I was a nobody before. It was David and Goliath smashing the giant after he dodged his handshake, okay?
Who is Carlos Condit getting? You seem to have some inside information on that. You said a top 5 guy who's missed some time. Break the Carlos Condit fight for him.
Baby, I'm inside. You know what I mean? But I get inside information because they know that I'm strong enough to hold out, and I can't let you guys in on that.
Brett, okay, we might have to hire Mike Perry to ESPN to help break some news here as well.
Yeah, I'll text you guys after this for $1,000.
A grand for
scoops.
All right, we'll negotiate, man.
Inside information, man.
We'll get that number down, and we'll make something happen.
Give me like a good stock or something. Inside tip on the stock. I need to make some money. Next time I'm putting 20 G's on myself. Straight like that.
There you go. I know your buddy, well, I don't know if he's your buddy, Jorge Masvidal. He said that he's bet on his fights. You haven't done that yet?
No, I haven't had enough money to bet on myself yet. I would have been afraid to have lost it, but I bought a house, so now I'm good. I'm in here with a mortgage for the next 30 years. Hopefully I'll own something in 30 years that's worth a bunch of money, and because it's a very nice house, and then I'll upgrade after I own that and sell it and make some money from it. You know, listen, at the UFC retreat, they put us in front of a bunch of businessmen who were trying to tell us what to do with our money and how to use the UFC as a platform. And pretty much the only thing I heard was Robert Herjavec was like, buy a house, real estate. You can't go wrong. In 10 years, you're going to make money, you know. But so I'm going to try to make that happen.
Yeah.
That's the only – I couldn't buy a business because I don't have time to be in the business. If I bought a gym, I wouldn't have time to work out myself. And I'm calling out the scariest guys in the world because I want to be scarier than them and fight them, and I need to prepare for them. Stay prepared. Stay dangerous.
Right. So, Mike, let's keep up with possible next opponents because the guy you were originally scheduled to face this weekend, Thiago Alves, has come out publicly and said that he still does want to face you. What do you make of those comments?
Listen, he can – if they call me at the end of the day, the UFC makes the final decision, okay? They know that if they call me and say, here's a name, what do you say? I don't say no. I say yes. You're going to pay me regardless. I'm going to show up and I'm going to win regardless. Don't care who it is. So if they call and they offer the guy who backed out 3 days before again, who almost hurt the card because people were there to see me, okay? There was a lot of hype for me to go and fight. People want to see me fight, period. Because I come to fight. I show up, I go out, I run in a guy's face and throw bombs. And people want to see what happens. I'm either going to get knocked down or they're going to get knocked out. One of those two, you know? And so if they call me and want Thiago again, I'll accept the fight. I'll sign the contract. I'll prepare to destroy him. But he's going to mentally break again. He's not going to come fight me. And if he does, he'll be on steroids and when he shows up, and I'll still whoop his ass.
Wow.
You are a terrifically confident, like you are a good example of how MMA fighters should conduct themselves in interviews, Mr. Perry, I have to say.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Mike,
I just speak real stuff.
What did your feelings change even slightly? And it's okay if they didn't, because it kind of seems like they did not. But Thiago came out and put out a statement and said that, you know, Hurricane Irma was headed towards Florida. Obviously, the UFC said, "Hey, we'll get you out of there quicker, but you got to take a quote unquote road trip." You know, you described something similar to me prior to the fight. They needed you to drive to a different airport or something, and he said, "No, I need to stay here with my stuff, and then I'll fly out." And it looked like he was at an airport. I mean, anything about that statement? Did you say, "Yeah, you know what? All right, I can understand." You know, that was a crazy storm. You know, it was a national disaster. You know, maybe there was some truth to that, or you truly feel like those were just excuses. He did not want to be there in Pittsburgh.
What it had to take for him to make it to that fight and show up and win, because listen, Here's an opportunity to make $100,000 in one night. He beats me, he gets $100,000. Because I beat him, I get the $100,000. You feel me? He gets more than $100,000. He gets more than me to show up. So right there, if he was comfortable enough to stay behind and not get that payday just for showing up, he could have taken that money, flown his family even further out of safety. They would have never had to sleep overnight in the gym. His dog wouldn't have died. I got 3 dogs. I saved all their lives. I drove them out of Florida, and I took them to North Carolina where they would be safe, and then I went to Pittsburgh, and I stayed there for 10 or 11 days. I stayed extra time, and I had to change my training plans and schedule just to train out there at the cold gyms in Pittsburgh. Listen, being from Florida and usually cutting weight outside, go for a run in the middle of the day, makes cutting weight really easy. Couldn't do that in Pittsburgh. It was ice cold, wouldn't sweat. So I had to find other ways to make it work. Okay? I made the adjustments. I came from Florida. A bunch of my family and friends came from Florida when the airports and all the traffic and the evacuations were going on. They all showed up. People had power outages. They still showed up. His team from down south, ATT, they all showed up. Hector Lombard was there. We all came from Florida. He was mentally defeated. This young kid was going to whoop that ass.
So if you don't have confidence that he, even if he agrees to fight you again, he won't show up on fight night. You called out Robbie Lawler. You just said yourself you don't think Robbie Lawler is going to accept that fight. Well, then where does that leave you? Is there a backup plan? Is there someone else that you want to call out, or is at this point we'll see what the UFC has in mind?
The top 15 guys ahead of me. Who is going to have a fight that's going to fall out? Call me 3 days notice. Shit happens. 170-pound fighters lose fight. Call me. I'm going to stay low. I'm going to stay in weight. Listen, I was 175 all week up there in Pittsburgh. That's how I live life. I'm dieting. I'm living at 6% body fat. I'm living fast and sharp, training constantly, grappling and boxing technique and footwork. Sparring has, even that has changed. It's not. Sometimes I go in and me and a guy try and whoop each other's butts and kill each other just to get the sweat. Me and some boxers, boxers spar like that. But then when you're talking kickboxing, it's a little more working on technique, just touching, trying to slap each other, because the range in boxing is more of a toe-to-toe fight, and then the range in kickboxing is more of a setup of timing and things like that. If I box somebody, I boxed before and I lost, and you guys might know about that, but I was 2-0 in MMA. I thought I was invincible, meaning, wasn't nobody gonna hit me hard enough to sit me down. Now I know I got to get out the way. I got to roll with the punches. I can be sat down, and it was a punch that at that time I didn't see coming. Now I see everything. My awareness is so much higher. The fighter I am today compared to the fighter I was a year ago alone is just so much higher. Even when then I thought I couldn't get any higher, and I'm so much better now. I see everything. Training is different. So I'm just prepared for everything. I think I'm the best fighter on the planet.
Mike, another thing I wanted to ask you about is just the positive energy that you have with your girlfriend, Danielle. When you two walk out, you're dancing to your walkout song, and she's dancing right behind you. And actually, was it the terrible towel she was doing behind you? I didn't really notice that the first time, but then when you said you were going to the Pittsburgh game, I was like, oh, that's the terrible towel. You just talk about your relationship with her. You're not the only fighter that walks out with a significant other, but it just seems like you two train together, and then you have fun on fight night. What is she to you, just on a personal level, but also a professional level?
She's my best friend, man. She's a smart person she's very book smart, and she respects what I have taught her about common sense and street smart, because that's where I feel I've got a diploma in street smarts, because I've been to a different type of school, a different type of camp, and I learned that that's not the camp you want to be in, and I had to learn the hard way because I'm a hard head. And I learned that life is quite enjoyable. It doesn't have to be all this negativity. She's got a lot of qualities I don't have. I got a lot of qualities she doesn't have. She's the yin to my yang. Her only tattoos, you know. She's got a yin yang on the sides of her hands in the front. So when you put your hands together like you're praying, it shows yin and yang. And I got the same tattoo with her. We both got it in Puerto Rico. And now she's a coach too. She's a tennis coach. And I think she's phenomenal the way her brain works, because she taught tennis and coaching, and she took fighting. She came in and I taught her some things, and she just can see so well how when something's right and when something's wrong, and like she understands hit, don't get hit, and she's a little better at point fighting than I am sometimes, I feel like, you know. Then that's where I show her things like aggression and overwhelming people with just pressure and power, and changing it back from power to speed and speed to power. And like, she's learning, she wants to fight now. I'm going to get her a kickboxing fight. I'm telling you, I said it this morning. I said she's going to make $100,000 in the UFC one day, because I can teach her how to beat these girls. I can teach her how to throw a punch like a real man, because she listens to me. It's important to listen to your coach. And when I tell people stuff, they want to take it in their own way, and she'll do that. But she'll also understand that I know what the hell I'm talking about, and that if she just do what I say, nobody can stop her. So we're going to show her. Her mom, if her mom hears this, she shouldn't, but her mom's not going to like that.
Yeah. Mom doesn't know about those plans
get her going.
yet, huh?
No, but she wants to do it, and she knows that she's better than these girls and people that she sees training and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, my God, every time she walks into a gym, sees somebody sparring, even the guys, she's like, oh, my God, what is this guy doing? And she can do it better than them.
Give us you're a guy who's obviously on a very fast rise. Give us a timeline on that. In this amount of months, we will see Danielle make $100,000 in the UFC. How long does that take?
We're talking a few years, but a few years will fly by. Okay, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna keep wrecking people. The money's gonna go up. Let's hope I can keep fighting often. You know what I mean? They gave me too much time off between the last one, but you see how dangerous I am with solid preparation. Maybe that's what they want to keep for me. I'm a dangerous guy when prepared, and my pride can get in the way sometimes, you know, but we'll see. I can take short notice fights too and still be prepared. I'm focusing on the whole top 15 division, constantly going to train for each and every one of them each and every day. So I'm going to stay prepared, and I'm going to train her too. She was in the gym this morning, day one. We're going to get her a kickboxing fight. We're going to see how it goes. The hard part is finding someone. I need to find her sparring with a capable female who can give her a good pop to the jaw. I want to see her ability to take a shot. See, that's a big ability that I have. People can hit me in the face, but the way that I roll with the punch just took so much power off that I could handle some of the biggest shots and return a lot harder, and they can't really roll with the punches or the shots that I'm throwing the way that I'm throwing them. So that's why they go down, you know. And I go in because I'm willing to take a shot because I know how to roll with the punches. These guys aren't catching that. It's just good boxing, to be honest. And then I put kicks and knees and elbows in it, and it's a totally different game for people.
Mike, last thing I wanted to ask you about is you come off a week like this. You know, we've been talking about it this whole interview, that it was a phenomenal week. It's fun. You know, you're going to an NFL game. You're on national television, knocking guys out, winning bonuses. I mean, you've won 50,000 bonuses in your last two fights. Do you, after a week like that or during a week like that, do you think much about where you came from or your past? You know, I mean, you spent time in a jail cell earlier in your lifetime. Do you think about that stuff and how far you've come, or are you just you so far past it, keep the past in the past, and it doesn't really cross your mind at this point in your life?
Certainly give God praise and just thank him so much for believing in me and putting it in me to believe in myself and just come out here and find something that I love and want to give all my time and effort to. and it work out for me. People give their time and effort to something, and it doesn't work out. But this is working out. And there's been times when it didn't work out, right? And then I was just like, well, screw it. What am I going to do? Quit? No, hell no. You know, so I make it work out. I work harder. And, you know, it's that work harder thing. It's crazy because I look back at times when I was working out and I'm like doing something simple that I was dying. And now I handle these simple little things. I'm living it. You know what I'm saying? Just waking up out of bed in the morning for some people is as hard as it is for me to go in the cage and knock somebody out.
It's definitely working out for you, Mike. We really appreciate the time. Look forward to seeing what's next for you. Hoping to see you at UFC 218 in early December up in Detroit, right? I mean, that's the plan. That's where you're from. And, whoever it is, they're going to have their hands full with Mike Perry, and we appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.